Do you think people renting out their houses for Airbnbs is actually affecting the national vacancy rate?
No, I think that would be much more of a headline item. The number of people who are Airbnbing on the grand scheme of things would be infinitesimal.
Absolutely. And that's my argument too, is that, for the amount of people that are doing it, I don't think that it's affecting anything. And I just wish that the city wouldn't be involved in it. But, rules are rules and we play by them. And that's just kind of the way we're shifting right now.
This is the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast.
Hey there, and welcome to the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Petro Skierchuk with Realty Executives in Saskatoon. I'm your host, Ronald Quaroni. I'm a licensed mortgage broker in both Alberta and Saskatchewan, and I love sharing real estate information with a prairie flavor. If you love real estate content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's get into today's episode. Is Airbnb dead in Saskatchewan? It's a really popular form of investing, especially on YouTube and Instagram. Lots of people talk about investing in Airbnbs, but recently it's been a little tougher in Saskatchewan to invest in Airbnbs. Today I have realtor with eXp, Dustin Sikler. And Dustin, you're also an Airbnb expert. So I'm happy to have you on today to kind of elaborate on what's happening in Airbnb, specifically in Saskatoon, because there has been some regulation change. Before we get to that, happy to have you on the podcast today.
Happy to be back on. I appreciate it. And I like talking about this stuff. So I'm excited for some questions and to share some insight of what's going on.
Wonderful. Before we get into Airbnbs, just give us a quick background of yourself as a realtor, Dustin, and your experience with Airbnbs in general.
For sure. Yeah, I'm a realtor with eXp Realty. I've been doing that for about almost 10 years now, 9.5 years. And I got into the Airbnb game pre-COVID, about 2019. Had some interesting times during COVID there, but we managed to get through it. At the peak, we were managing about 12 to 13 properties. We've scaled back a little bit due to some regulations, which we'll get into here right away. But we're still rocking and rolling with those. Real estate's been super busy, as everyone knows. And yeah, just chasing the kids around the hockey rinks and having fun. And yeah, it's been a fun ride.
Amazing. So last time we chatted, we had a really good discussion around Airbnb, and things have updated since then. So let's get to the main question of the day. Is Airbnb dead in Saskatchewan, Dustin? What's your thoughts on that?
I do not think Airbnb is dead. No, I do think that there's been some changes, specifically in my market, Saskatoon. Since 2024, January, I believe, the city of Saskatoon has shut down permits. So you cannot get a new permit if you're trying to set up an Airbnb in Saskatoon. Now, they go by the national vacancy rates, I believe, by CMHC, which says that if it's less than 3% vacancy rate, then they will not allow any new permits. So anyone that had a permit existing to that time is still allowed to run. But we've noticed quite a few less Airbnbs in Saskatoon now. It's been a little bit frustrating because I feel like they say that they'll reopen permits when that vacancy rate goes up, but between me and you and everyone I know, I don't know if the city really is going to reopen something that they've shut down. So it'll be interesting to see what they say there. But yeah, it's been difficult. But there are still ways to run an Airbnb in Saskatoon. The first option is 30 plus days. So we've actually converted quite a few of our units to 30 plus days stays. They're actually really nice too. So you're getting, usually more of the professionals, the traveling nurses or the businessman who's here for a month at a time. And those are still allowed. So you can have a 30 plus day stay. You could also have what's called a homestay. So a homestay would be you are the principal owner of the residence, and you are having people stay in your house. So if you have, say, a basement with a kitchen in it, suites, anything like that, you can still have an Airbnb. So you just have to apply for what's called a homestay permit as opposed to an Airbnb permit. So those are nice. If you have a condo or a townhouse, you can only have up to 2 guests in it. And if you have a full house, you can have up to 6 guests in it. So Airbnb, long story short, I don't think it's dead. It's been a lot more difficult. And if anyone was, bought a house recently, was excited to maybe Airbnb out their basement or something like that, then you will not be able to do that. And the city has stated that they are cracking down on fines as well, if they do catch you doing that. So, like I said, it's cleaned up a lot of places that typically were Airbnbs before that are now long-term rentals. But I just have a quick question for you. Do you think that Airbnbs, people renting out their houses for Airbnbs, is actually affecting the national vacancy rate?
No, I think that would be much more of a headline item. The number of people who are Airbnb on the grand scheme of things would be infinitesimal.
Absolutely. And that's my argument too, is that, for the amount of people that are doing it, I don't think that it's affecting anything. And I just wish that the city wouldn't be involved in it. But, rules are rules and we play by them. And that's just kind of the way we're shifting right now.
Right. And here is kind of that next question is people shift, right? It's not like people just close up shop and then never Airbnb again. Obviously, there might be new opportunities on the market. Can you just walk me through if someone was wanting to kind of get involved in the Saskatoon market, how there still might be ways that they could Airbnb properties, just not directly in Saskatoon?
Yeah, I mean, we've been noticing a huge uptick in cabins. So I think, kind of during COVID, that time, people were buying cabins. Cabin sales were up, right? And and it's always nice to supplement some of that mortgage from your cabin on renting it out, right? And I don't think, Airbnb for cabins might be a little bit newer, but I mean, people have been renting out cabins forever, right? But I think now that you have that nice platform with Airbnb and their insurance and everything like that, it helps people easily set up their property and post it on there and get rentals right away, right? So I've been noticing a big uptick in cabin rentals, specifically like in my little Manitou Beach village there. We even 2 years ago, I think we had less than five Airbnbs, and now I think I just checked the other day, and we're up to like 15 to 20. So
Amazing.
um, there's been definitely an uptick in that, and I just think people are realizing that it's actually not that hard to furnish your property and rent it out, right? So, and then there's other options too. Like, are you familiar with the blackstrap glamping domes?
I've seen those and I haven't actually stayed out there yet, but they look like a great setup and like a really unique way to go spend a weekend with your wife as kind of like a little retreat.
Absolutely, and you know what? They are doing really well. They're booking up well. I checked out their calendar the other day, and a lot of the summer is booked up, and they're adding more domes there. Just another creative way, right? You can go get those domes, build them, and furnish them, and then you can make some revenue that way. We've been noticing people getting pretty creative with like tree houses, teepees. You can even, if you have an RV or a pull behind trailer, you can rent those out. There's actual sites like Airbnb where you use that trailer twice a year, right? And then you store it for the rest of the year. You can post it on a site, and someone will come pick it up for the weekend, or you can offer to deliver it to their lake for the weekend or the week or whatever it is, and you can make money that way too. So there are opportunities, and I've actually seen some people not in Saskatchewan, but I'd be interested to see if it comes here in some of the lake areas where they're actually doing like tiny house communities, like tiny house
Hmm.
cabins and stuff like that. So there are a ton of opportunities. I just think that the people that are getting the most creative right now are the ones that are doing the best.
All right, we're going to take a really quick break. After this, Dustin's going to talk about the challenges aside from regulation that Airbnb hosts or owners can face when running in Saskatchewan and maybe some ways of overcoming that. We'll be right back. Real estate investing does not have to be a full-time job. Randall, Hoeber, and Boys Group Realty provide complete property management services in Yorkton and surrounding areas, allowing investors to enjoy passive income without the headaches of day-to-day management. From finding tenants to handling maintenance and rent collection. Whether you own a property or are just getting started in the market, Randall, Hoeber, and Boys Group Realty makes it simple. Call Randall Hoeber at 306-782-1323 or email info@ralixenterprises.com to take the next step towards hands-free real estate investing. Your property, our expertise. Whether it's your home, business, or farm, Pioneer Solar and Renewables has you covered as leaders in residential, commercial, and agriculture solar solutions they make clean energy easy and affordable. Visit pioneersolarenergy.com or give them a call to begin harnessing the power of the sun today. Are you investing in real estate? Let Krishna with Boys Group Realty take care of everything. Finding properties, purchasing, renovations, leasing, and management, leaving you to focus on building wealth. Whether it's a single rental or an entire portfolio, serving Saskatoon and surrounding areas, helping maximize cash flows and minimize stress. If you're looking for an expert to manage your investments, reach out today, home@meetkrishna.ca. Hello and welcome back to the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast, your home for all things Saskatchewan, all things real estate. Today, we are talking about Airbnb in Saskatchewan. Is the industry dying or is it simply just shifting? And Dustin, as I think you're perfectly elaborating, it is definitely not dying. We're just seeing shifts in the market due to some of these regulatory things that are coming in place. But aside from regulation, when we're talking about the challenges of running an Airbnb business, and this can be Saskatchewan specific or generalized if you would like, but walk me through some of the things that you have to overcome as an Airbnb owner.
That's a loaded question. There's a lot of challenges, right? Like most people say, like I said earlier, you furnish your property and you put it on Airbnb and then you start making money. It's not that easy. There's the biggest issue we're finding with some of our out of town properties is cleaners, right? If you're listening to this right now and you're at a lake property or your place with Airbnbs and you have some free time, start a cleaning business because that is the number one challenge. And a lot of resort properties too, right? There's just not enough cleaners. There's a lot of properties, a lot of them on Airbnb, and we can't find those cleaners. So if you're listening, that's a great little side gig for you to do right there. But yeah, so managing property is tough because you got to deal with all the bookings, right? You got to screen the guests. We don't allow any guests have that don't have 5-star ratings. So if they have a 4 or less, we can screen them a little bit more just to make sure that they are going to be good guests. But we want to make sure that these guests that are renting these properties are going to take care of them because that's another big issue, especially in lake towns. You might have your bachelorette parties or your bachelor parties, and stuff can kind of get out of control a little bit. So you got to just do a little bit of due diligence. But besides that, we screen the guests, and then you have to arrange for the cleaners, and then you have to have a handyman on site because there's always going to be an instance where something's going to break or something's going to, there's always going to be issues there, especially between the checkout and the check-in stages. You usually only have one day, and if the cleaner notices the cabinet doors hanging off or something's wrong, you got to make sure you got your maintenance guys ready to go. Another good tip for remote hosting is that most all our properties have keypad locks on them, but those batteries die. So you better have a backup lock box with keys in there too, just in case that the locks don't operate properly. So yeah, there's a lot of behind the scenes involved with it between cleaning, maintenance, screening guests, and just making sure that everything works out properly. If there are some damaged stuff in your cabin, you wanted to make sure that you submit your claims with Airbnb on time, and then go through that whole process of hopefully getting refunded some of that money too. So yeah, it sounds easy, and it can be easy, but with a good management company too, sometimes that they can take away a lot of those issues for you, so you don't have to deal with the day to day.
As always, when we're dealing with real estate, I think there's kind of an easy path in the mind to go to the place of buy property, make money, and there's kind of that in-between part that a lot of people forget, that buying into real estate, whether it be as a landlord or an Airbnb owner, you're buying a small business, and there's lots of different things that come into that. I'm sure you could probably go on for an hour, Dustin, on all the things that go into running a good Airbnb. And so if someone's listening to this and they're like, I really like the idea of the buying and then just getting right to the making money part, not so much of that management side. You folks do a great job running an Airbnb management company. Just tell us a little bit more about that, how you help folks out, and kind of the value that you provide there.
Yeah, for sure. So it's a little bit of a process. That we start with a screening or like a meeting process where we just make sure that we're a right fit for them. because you want to let them know your expectations too, right? And that you're both on the same page. And if both sides are happy and they wanted to move forward, then we pretty much just take care of the whole day to day. We get the professional photos done. Um, we do a walkthrough of the cabin or the house to make sure that the furniture's good. They have all the cutlery and the utensils and the plates and everything needed. There's a lot of material that you wouldn't realize that you need to put into an Airbnb. I mean, they're big hotels, right? So like ironing boards and steamers and tea kettles. And so we just make sure we have a big checklist. We make sure all that stuff's in there. And if not, that we, get it in there. Linens are a big thing. You want 2 to 3 sets of linens for every single bed. You want to make sure you got a good washer and dryer because you're going to be doing a lot of laundry for every check-in, check-out. Towels, a lot of towels too. So those are the big things. And then once we've got it all set up, we bring in the professional photographer, get the photos taken, and then we have an online booking platform that allows Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com, all the major sites to integrate so that we can take bookings from more than just Airbnb. So it allows us to get hopefully more bookings than the average person that just posts on Airbnb. So then once we get the bookings, we take care of the check-in, the check-out, all the maintenance, all the cleaning. Yeah, it's a lot, but that's the reason why we decided to start this company up, was because we had a couple of our own and we realized that having one or two is just as much work as having 10 or 11, right? You still have to have your handyman in place. You still have to have your cleaners and everything else. So we decided that we weren't going to make money having those staff in place with one or two. So that's why we kind of scaled up and started the business.
That's brilliant. The Saskatchewan Realtors Association supports over 1,700 realtors across the province. Their members provide expert insights to help you navigate the market. Visit sra.ca for monthly stats, industry updates, and to find a realtor near you. Sitting here with Dustin Sikler, eXp Realtor and Airbnb expert in Saskatchewan. Dustin, you just took us through the great list of things that you folks offer when it comes to management services of Airbnb. If someone's listening to this or watching and they're wanting to potentially get more information, just walk us through your servicing area and what would be the best way of contacting you.
For sure. Our servicing area, I guess it all depends. Like I said, we just launched a cabin in Canada Lake. Definitely brings challenges, but as long as we can find the reliable boots on the ground there, like cleaners and maintenance people, we could pretty much service anywhere in Saskatchewan. We do like to keep it within a couple hours just in case there are emergencies where we have to get out there. It wouldn't be ideal to drive to Edmonton or something like that, but within a couple hours, preferably. But we can always find solutions. How to contact me? You can find me on social media on Facebook, Dustin Sikler, or Instagram, Dustin Sikler, and that would probably be the best way to contact me.
Okay, awesome. All right, Dustin. Now, last question for you. If you had to recommend an audiobook, a podcast, or a movie, which one would it be? And give me a brief description why.
Well, if we're on the Airbnb theme right now, STR Secrets, it's a podcast with Michael Storgan, is one that I get a ton of value from. He runs a huge company. He's actually started getting into boutique hotels, which is another big thing. But there's a lot of value on that if you were thinking of Airbnb or just to get some really good tips and tricks. Again, it's STR Secrets. It's an audiobook. And anyone interested in this industry would really get a lot of value out of that one.
Amazing. Dustin, thank you so much for your time today, sharing your expertise. Always appreciated. Really appreciate you coming back on the podcast.
My pleasure. Looking forward to coming back again.
Thanks for tuning in to the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast. Do you need help with your next real estate transaction? Whether you're buying your first home, refinancing, or investing in real estate, I am here to help you navigate the mortgage process in both Saskatchewan and Alberta, or connect you to a trusted professional. Feel free to send me an email at ron@ronqmortgage.ca or use the booking link to schedule a time to chat. Until next week, I'm Ron Quaroni, your Saskatchewan mortgage professional. Bye for now.